and thanks so much for joining me for this Get Ready With Me featuring my January favorites. Now you saw a lot of favorites if you saw that video. There were so many things that I purchased in January, and there were so many lovely, lovely products. I can't put them all on one face at one time, but I tried to put on as many as I possibly could. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and start with the by PRAIRIE Brightening CC Serum. And this is a glowing base. It provides hydration, radiance, and it's got color correcting properties as well. And this is in the shade Apricot Glow. I think someone asked if it has a fragrance. It does have a fragrance to it. It's got a very pleasant rose fragrance, but if you are concerned at all about fragrance, it does have fragrance. I've not yet had a chance to try this with just concealer. Speaking of concealer, let's go under the eye with the SISLEY Concealer as normal, and then we can kind of see what it looks like with concealed eye area, because that makes an impact, at least on me it does. Taking a favorite brush, my PEAU concealer brush, and those of you who have picked this up know what this is all about. Does such a nice job of using very, very little product and just really blends it so easily. Going in with La PRAIRIE. And then let's go in with the new PEAU concealer. I have come to love this one quite a bit, although I still wish it was a little bit less cool. It's a little cooler than the original Mocha that I have, but I think I want to try honey as well. But I do like the finish on this. So there's a little experiment here just to see how this looks before foundation. I do like the idea of having this closer to my skin though, just because it has the brightening ingredient in it, the ginger I think it is. Okay, so this is kind of what I always wanted to play around with, was the by PRAIRIE Brightening CC Serum with just concealer. So this is how it looks. It looks really beautiful, but I wanted to see what that looked like. Yeah, this is the first time I'm trying this as well. I think it looks really beautiful. I think you can see the concealer has that more skin-like appearance to it versus the previous PEAU concealer, which is slightly drier. So I don't think I caught that until I tried it this way, and then you can see how it behaves right on top of skin. Usually I'll apply it over foundation, so this is good for me to see just on skin, well, with CC serum and then on the skin. I typically don't apply foundation over concealer simply because it moves the concealer around, but let's see how this works. The Ultra Le Temps, this is Chanel BD41. So many of you let me know that you love this one too. I started putting images of the brush up here. Some people thought this was a sponge. If you're new here, it's a brush. I love this one, and so many of you have purchased this and let me know that you love it too. Just trying to stipple in the front here so I don't move the concealer around. Actually worked quite nicely. It doesn't always work out that well. I think when the foundation's really dewy, it'll move that concealer around a lot. But in this case, it didn't, although I do see a little bit of darkness, but I think we can still work around that. But just evened everything out. Let's go in with the #1 de Chanel in BD41. It's more hydrating. Again, it's very windy. So my skin gets dried out when it's windy like this. It's nice to have some hydration on the exterior. So let me know if you've tried this too, this combination of foundations based on the skin type that you have on your face, because I don't think I'm the only one who has different types of skin on different parts of my face. So I really think I liked adding the concealer first. I know people have said add concealer first, and I tried concealer first a long time ago, but that's when I had a lot of concealer on and lots of layers of concealer and color corrector because of my dark spots, and it really didn't work. It was just moving things around too much. So I think maybe it's the foundation itself that helps keep it in place because, like I said, it's not that emollient. It dries down really nicely. And also probably the concealer you use you use. That Clé de Peau really stuck really nicely with that CC serum underneath. Yeah, so let's see if I don't have to go in again, because I like that evenness about it. Kind of fun to play around with different kinds of application techniques. I'm gonna go ahead with the By Terry, taking the peach shade right here. Then taking the deeper shade here. Oh, by the way, I'm taking the Everything Powder Brush by Roen. Another new favorite this month. Reminds me a little bit of the Limier, but it's smaller, has a little bit different shape, and is not as wide either. And of course, a constant favorite, Perfect Blur Powder with the Buff and Blur brush. This is the shorter one that I use for travel, and I also have the regular size one. They're both lovely. Now I do feel the bristles on the travel one are a little bit looser and not as compact, but I haven't noticed a difference in performance. So I'll reach for either one, whatever's closest by. Just love how this perfects. It really does perfect. These are the usual products I talk about when I talk about brows, the Diorshow Pump and Brow, but I will typically finish off with this. But well, it's because I had the pencil somewhere else and I just had this, so I applied this first and then went in with a pencil. So let's see how that works. Plus I used the Grande Brow, which I really love. And I don't know if you remember from way back when, my brows did not look like this. They were quite sparse. So that is a favorite. I don't think I mentioned my skincare favorites as much as I should, but that brow serum is really nice. I've been using it for, gosh, couple years now maybe. I mean, the process is slow. You just have to know it's not going to be overnight. It does do a nice job. I feel like I don't really illustrate the power of this because I go in after I put pencil. So let me go ahead and do this other one. You can see what it looks like with just the gel. Okay, so that's what my brows look like just with the gel. So you can see they're not totally even. So that's one of the reasons I go in with pencil. So I'm going to go in with my Gucci pencil as normal. And then I'm going to go in with my new Roen brow product, Vow Brow, and just build the front and the end. It's more precise. Now that we've got brows on, we'll go in with bronzer. I've been loving these, especially in the winter. These are the Chanel bronzers. I have both shades, and I know I went in with both shades at once, but it was a little too heavy because I wasn't watching. So I'm gonna go in with the lighter shade first, and then we'll build a little bit of that deeper shade in. So I've got this Charlotte Tilbury brush. We're just gonna apply it like this. Really nice and natural if you want to just go in with something subtle to build some very slight dimension. And then I'm going to go in now with the deeper of the two and go under the cheekbone with this one though. Then I just take the brush and I kind of squeeze it like this so it changes the shape. And I can apply it more in the direction I want. And then I'm going to go back into this one and then use this to kind of buff everything in. Just softens that up a bit. Okay, so just a little bit of soft definition there. Now for eyes, I think some of these are not available. I'm gonna use a combination of eye products today. Some are harder to get a hold of than others, and I think one is no longer available, but if you have it, you can use it this way. Let's go in with this SUQQU palette first. I'm gonna take this shade and this shade. I'm gonna skip this, I love it, but I'm gonna do something a little bit more neutral today. So I'm gonna start with this shade on the lid. Just kidding, I forgot primer. Chantecaille primer in medium. So now going in with the lightest shade. Does have the slightest intermittent shimmer here. And let's take this shade in the crease area. This one has such a pretty neutral shade to it, lovely satin finish. So if you wanted to just use this palette and use these colors, you can keep it super neutral without pulling in any of the more exciting shades if you don't want to use that every day. I'm gonna take this under the eye as well. Okay, now this palette I don't believe is available any longer, but some of you may still have it. So I'm going to go in with this lovely shade here, right in the outer corner. Okay, I'm gonna go underneath as well, just a little bit. I'm gonna add a little bit of mascara and then we'll come back and evaluate what the eyeliner should look like. So I don't have any eyeliner on, that's just the Chantecaille mascara. Mascara is so good. I'm gonna take a little of the Chantecaille Rose Water. I'm just gonna take that deepest shade again and place that right under the lash line, just on the outer quarter or so, right here. But we'll let that dry for a moment before I add eyeliner. Let's do blush. One of my favorite parts. We're going to go in with Peche Rosee, and I love this brush. This is my favorite new blush brush by Roen, the Blush and Blend brush. Yeah, that's such a beautiful, very subdued blush. So, so pretty, but I'm gonna do a little accent here. I'm gonna take the SUQQU blush. Actually, I purchased one more of these because I like them so much. So I have a peach shade and I have this pink shade. This is in number 2. Take a little and do a pop of color right here. Such a beautiful glow. Those are both gorgeous blushes. And then let's go in with a lip. I have so many beautiful lip shades to pick from. Let's see, I think we'll go in with this one because it's quite neutral. The eyes and the cheek actually is quite calm today. Let's go in with this one. This is limited edition. It does have the slightest reflective property in here. Very, very subtle though. This is number 138. Let's go a little bit backwards. I'm gonna add the Victoria Beckham in bronze in the waterline. Yeah, we're all out of order today with application. Well, out of order compared to what I normally do. Yeah, I really like to tightline just to get rid of any redness that's there, because I think that's one thing that will make me look tired. And then I'm gonna tightline with Chantecaille's black. I actually think I got some of it with my mascara too. That's another reason I go in, because sometimes my mascara will catch that little bit there and sometimes it won't, so it looks kind of uneven. So I like to go in with this. I'm just gonna layer really quickly one other lip shade on here. This is the one in 924. By Chanel, just for a little bit more hydration if you want a little bit more. And today I think I need just slightly a little bit more. Okay, and finally a fragrance. We're gonna go in with Vetiver by Chantecaille. So nice to have this handy sampler from them because it has all of the notes on it. So Vetiver has top notes of citron, pink pepper, nutmeg, juniper, cypress, and mid notes are muguet, cedarwood, iris, dry down, vetiver, vanilla, musk, sandalwood. So it's a very clean, but there's a bit of strength there with the dry down. So that vetiver and that sandalwood, really lovely. Yeah, so I think it's perfect for this time of the year where we're just kind of coming out of winter, going to spring, but it's quite sophisticated as well. And that is it for the Get Ready With Me. Tried some new techniques here. I don't know, I just kind of went out of order on a lot of things, not intentionally, but kind of organically happened that way because I wanted to see the concealer on top of that CC serum, but it worked beautifully underneath the foundation. So I think I am at the point where my dark spots are not nearly as severe. They don't take as much finesse in terms of keeping things in place as they used to. I really could not touch that area before, but now it seemed to work really beautifully to add, especially this foundation. I'm curious about other foundations, how they'll work on top of this concealer, but really just seamless. So I didn't have to go in again with that. I think also the powder helped. So although I wasn't able to use everything for my favorites because there were so many, I hope this gave you a good sense of kind of the things that I was loving, how easy they are to use, and why I keep pulling for them and why I'm excited to use them. And as always, let me know what your favorites were for the month of January. But that's it for today's video, so please take care of each other. Stay well. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you next time.